Stop building user forms manually. Now you can drag any data into Claude and the skill, and that's it. Your user form is done for you. Add new, save, update, delete in about 2 minutes from start to finish. No dragging controls, no naming fields, and no writing code. In this training, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this free skill and the exact process that I used to create it. I cannot wait. So let's get started. All right, thanks for joining us. I'm super excited to bring this one to you because I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours designing, programming, and coding user forms, and now I don't have to, and neither do you. Let me share with you what we have today, then we're gonna get into the details. Let's say we have this customer data, and I wanna be able to add, update, edit, and delete records using a user form. I can create that in a matter of minutes with the help of Claude and a detailed skill. So I'm going to bring my Claude up here. We'll be getting into the details shortly. And all I need to do is take this customer data file that I have in front of you, and I'm going to drag that directly into my Claude chat. I'm also going to take a specific skill. Now I've already got this skill embedded inside Claude, so I'm just going to call it up. And it is the Excel UserForm. So I've got that right here, the UserForm builder. And I'm going to say, please create a user form for this. That is it. I don't need anything else. Claude is going to get to work and build us that dynamic user form right away. If I actually add a background, it will also include that as well, but let's see what it can do. While it's doing that, make sure you do grab the download below because I'm going to be including all the skills and the sample file with you, and that will be included inside the links in the description. Just look for the word download. If you're on my website, make sure you look for the download button. I'll be supplying the skill, and also I'll include the application that we're designing so you can get into the code and see everything. This skill will work in multiple LLMs. Try it on Codex, try it on Grok, and today we're going to be using Claude for that. And it is done. That is pretty quick. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. If you see the preview, this is just gibberish. We don't need to worry about that. We don't need a preview on this. So I'm just going to download and open it. Now, when I open it, there's a good chance that macros will be blocked, and I'll show you how to get around that. First of all, we're going to enable editing, and then when we see the red here, we know that the macros are blocked here. So that's no problem. We're going to look in the downloads folder here. So it's this one right here. Let's bring it up here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to properties, and we're just simply going to unblock. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to open it up from there. Now macros will no longer be blocked. We see we have the original data. We also have some new buttons. Now when I make a selection, we see that the line is highlighted. So that's pretty cool. I can edit that selected customer right here. We see Jack Johnson. We can make a change on that if I want. We see we have the status. It's automatically created a drop-down list. The fields are automatically these two types. We also have active and inactive. So we can quickly understand the types of fields that you have, and it creates very specific field types based on the data that you have. So we can update the notes. This is an update. And what we can do is just click save, and it's going to automatically be updated. If I were to edit it again, that edit's now been changed. So very cool. If we want to add a new record, we can click add new, and we can just put in a customer here. And automatically a brand new record is going to be saved on the first available row. So if we take a look here, we have our brand new customer here. If I want to edit it, I can edit it. If I want to delete it, I can delete it, and it's going to be gone. We now have a brand new user form, created it literally in just a few minutes. But what if we have some new data and we want to bring that in? I've got a blank worksheet here, but we want to quickly populate the data. I'm going to use my AI Toolpack add-in to do just that because it does such a good job of adding in fake data, along with 11 other tools, including an AI assistant, fix my formula. You can explain any formula, optimize my formula. You can even write code or optimize code. We can fix any existing code. We can get real data, plus we got insights, and we got some ChatGPT functions, so a whole lot. I'm going to use the get fake data. Now, first cell is going to be A1. I can select data from individual templates that you can save, which is kind of nice. So I've got one for products here, and I'm going to want 10 rows of sample data, and I want to put on sheet 1. So I'm just going to generate the data, and it's going to use AI and a little bit of magic to create that data in just a matter of seconds. And there it is done, and I'm good to go. Now I'm simply going to save this as our product data, and I'll just save it inside my desktop. So that should be fine. So once it gets saved inside the desktop, I'm going to drag and drop and create that directly inside our new chat. We can create a brand new chat, or we can use the existing chat. So to do that, I'm just going to click here, new, and it's going to create a brand new one. Now from my desktop, I'm going to bring it right in here. And this time we can also drag and drop the skill. That is another way to do it. So grab the skill and bring it in here. And very quickly, a simple prompt is going to allow it to create a user form. But this time, what I also want to do is I want to create a background. So I've got a cool background here. I want that background to be part of the user form. So I'm going to drag that here. And I'm just going to also ask it, please create a full user form via the attached skill, data, and image background. That's it. I'm going to hit enter and it's going to go to work just like it did before. This time it's going to be placing a background and using our data. While it's doing that, let me go ahead and show you how to install the skill that I'll be sending you for free. So I'm going to go here and we're going to go into the customize. I'm going to click on skills and then I'm going to click add here. And I want to upload a skill. Now, once I have that, I'll be able to drag and drop that skill. Now, skill is all the information that describes exactly how to create it. So it's a full instruction for LLMs. Since I already have it, I'm just going to ask it to update it. Now, when we click on that skill, we'll be able to see a lot of details. So I'm going to click on this user form builder. And right here, you're going to see down below, you've got a lot of the details. So it's very skilled on exactly how to create the data, how to create the formats, write the code, and pretty much everything it needs is inside this skill file. And we also have a bunch of scripts that it's going to run. All right, cool. And if you don't know exactly what data to use or what template, I've now just released the ultimate workbook pack. It's got over 500 templates and workbooks. So that is a really incredible resource, and I'll include the link down below. Our application is ready, the product manager. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click download. Once I've downloaded this, I'm going to click show and explore. And that's going to give me a shortcut right to my downloads. Once I have that, I am going to make sure that macros are enabled. So I'm going to click the unblock here. Once I have that, I'm just going to double click on it and it's going to open up our products. So once again, we have the product data. We have a selection here. We can edit an existing product. We see the product ID here, all the product information. We can save, we can update, and we can modify it if we want to. We can delete it. So we have a fully dynamic user form here with the product name, and then we can call it mouse. And we can put in a purchase price. And also, not only that, if we take a look, we see that when we tab across here, we actually have automatically formatted. So I really like the automated formatting. We can give it a description and it's automatically going to be saved or updated. The save button does two things. It actually updates or save new records. So we see we've added this. So very, very cool that this can be done. We can even use tabs. So it's automatically got the tab order that's corrected. And also you can see our custom background has actually made it into the user form as well. We can use Control Enter, that's going to save it. So Control Enter is an automatically programmed shortcut. All of that inside this incredible skill. So how do I make this skill? So I want to go into some detail because I did get a lot of questions on how I create these skills. So let's go over the entire process. When creating a skill, what we want to do is we want to make sure the LLM has all the context possible. And to do that, I started with two different existing workbooks that both had user forms. One was the dynamic user forms, and the other was the user form data mapping. These are trainings that I did some time ago, but they really offered perfect trainings. In this one, we were able to create dynamic user forms based on the data. So that's kind of essentially what we're doing is we're creating dynamic user forms based on the type of data, except the LLM is doing it. And in another training, we also created some user form data mapping here where we were able to map the fields. So we had very similar ideas and we were able to do that. We could add new products. Inside this, Claude could look at all the code. So the first thing what I did is I made sure that it had that additional context. And so let's go into Claude and I'm going to take a look from the beginning of that chat. I would like to create a training that allows Claude to turn any table or sheet data into a full CRUD user form. CRUD meaning create, read, update, and delete. That's what I want for this user form. A fully functional, beautiful user form complete with add new, delete, save, update features. Once complete, we'll turn it into a completed skill. The skill and the function should consider the following. And then I said any picture, the formats, Data should be reoccurring types in case it's like status. So I wanted to recognize the data. Should it be a drop-down list? Should it be an option box? Or should it be a checkbox? What is about the format? Is it a dollar sign? Is it a date, right? So I wanted to recognize all of this. Values such as true or false should most likely be used in a checkbox style. Values with just two options, example, customer type, residential, commercial, can be considered for an option group. Large text fields such as notes should be considered for multi-line and wrapping text. Buttons should be modern, transparent if a background is used, and the form should be balanced. So I want to make sure the fields are not all on one side or not above. And I want to make sure that it sees the two samples. So I uploaded those two samples. And it said it read both samples. I'm not going to read you every part. So it basically created this. And then I said, make sure you use an existing VBA engine. This particular skill that I've used for a long time is the foundational information to help Claude write that VBA. If you don't have it, I'll make sure to include this skill also inside the package that you're going to be downloading. And so what it did is it built and delivered it. Now this one was not enough. It had errors and a lot of issues. So it created a skill and a demo, but the demo had some bugs. So I said, actually, my goals for this were slightly different. So it decided that it was going to create an application, and the application would create the user form. And I didn't want it. I wanted Claude to create it. So there was an initial misunderstanding because what I got back was something that was actually creating the user form on the fly inside the code, and I don't want that. So I explained, actually my goals were slightly different. I would like a user to drag the data into Claude and attach the skill, and Claude does a quick interview if it's necessary, and Claude builds the complete user form. The user form is not being built during runtime. So that's exactly what I wanted to say. So then it did that. It was able to deliver all of that through some work. And then after that point, it did create it, but I did have some bugs. Let's take a look at the bug. And so the bug was basically due to some incorrect field names. It was using field names F1, F2, and those are not correct field names. So it made a critical mistake and it caused a bug, and it took a while for it to figure that out. So we had to go through that, and it finally was able to get through and found that those were the incorrect field names. And I was getting frustrated. 30 minutes already. What's the issue? So it struggled a lot. So this is a really time-consuming process to create these skills because there's a lot of hurdles that need to overcome. So one time it took over 30 minutes just to write something. And I said, why do you need my computer for so long? So it was messing up. And I told it again to use the VBA engine. And then here I'm getting frustrated. Don't make it over complex. Let me reiterate the goals. I had to remind it of those goals. So when you're creating these skills, often you have to go back to the step one and say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. It might forget those original goals. And then here's where I found the issue. Why are you naming the fields F1? That's a major issue. When my samples, they are field 1, field 2. Please match my sample code originally that I gave you. So once it found that error, it was actually able to create a functioning field. So here it said, okay, the inputs are field 1, the captions are label 1. So it gave very, very clear and specific formats to those field names, and then it was able to fix it. So it had one more bug that we worked out. And then after that, it's still consistent with the bug. So once we were able to produce a working user form that didn't have any bugs, then we were going to focus on formatting and fields and tab orders and things like that. So first we made sure it functioned well, and then I went through that. And I said, okay, now some feedback. All the fields are justified, no margins. And I said it was too small. So we have a picture of something it designed, and I wanted it bigger, but here you can see it's pretty good, and I wanted the things centered. So I gave it some details, but it was just more of a visual impact. And so it did that. It made buttons all caps, so it kind of updated that, and then added some conditional formatting. I wanted, when the user makes a selection on a record, I wanted conditional formatting so we know what was selected. So these are more features that I've decided to add onto that as we went through that. And then we worked on some different types of data. So it said it looks pretty good. I think we need an asterisk for the required fields. We wanted to make sure that we added an asterisk. So you see here, now it's got an asterisk here for the required fields. That I felt was kind of important. So all those little small things take a lot of time to prepare, and that's what I've done for you today. So once we got that, then we focused on some additional types of data. It was doing pretty good with that. And then we just had it build and update the skill. And then that's pretty much what you have now. So that's kind of how we go. It's just many iterations until it gets things exactly the way you want. And it can be very frustrating at times. So initially, first, it didn't do anything what I wanted because the user opened it and the user had to click a button to create the user form. And that's not what I wanted. Then we had a bug. We worked that out. Then we focused on the visual aspects. and the user field. All right, cool. So that's actually how you create a skill. I'm happy to bring that to you. Of course, I have lots of ideas on what I want to create and what I want to see. The user form can be a lot bigger. Maybe we'll have subtypes of records such as customers and then invoices. So maybe we want to see something like that. I'll be adding all that into our elite membership updated training. That's going to be next week. So make sure you get your ideas, feedback. I love creating these things for you. Now you can create a user form using any type of data in a matter of minutes. Make sure you grab the download that's located below in the description. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.